Hi, everyone. Good afternoon here in the Middle East. Good morning over there, Mexico and Latin America. Wherever you are listening to us in North America, in Latin America, and here in the Gulf. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you, all of you here, in another webinar from our series, inspirational series from Wapalita. And also from Inspirisa by Wapalita, which is also another organization that is supporting Wapalita's mission of co-creating opportunities for developing competencies. And today we have a wonderful webinar that is key to hear. Why? Because we know that today, after so many changes in other economical blocks, and after so many changes in other governmental systems, we have to start thinking about what other kind of relationships, what other kind of bridges we have to start thinking about or studying, strengthening. And in this case, we have a wonderful, wonderful webinar that is titled Cultivating Connections, strengthening the business and friendship bridge between LATAM and the GCC. And for this webinar, the most important and perfect person for delivering is Astrid Chedid. Astrid Chedid is the AIM Congress Regional Director of Latin America, the Caribbean, and Spain. Welcome, Astrid, to this webinar series of webinars. And we are so excited and so thrilled to have you here on board and to learn from you, because I know that you have so much information and experiences to share. The stage is yours. Please let us know what exactly is what you do before you start proceeding with your presentation. Thanks.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ideli, for this kind presentation and for inviting me to this exciting webinar series. Because I know you've been working very hard to bring amazing speakers, and I'm honored to be part of it. Thank you so much for that. So I see that we have a good audience, and I know this audience today, you all live in GCC, I think. You're Latinas living in GCC. I hope this information works for you. This information I give is usually for people who have never been in GCC countries or in the Middle East, for that matter. But let me first introduce myself. My name is Astrid Chedid, and I'm Regional Director for Latin America, the Caribbean, and Spain for the AIM Congress. But I am also a connector between these two regions, a connector in the friendship level and in the business level. That's why I like very much giving this webinar and this workshop, because it's always important for me to highlight the importance of strengthening and increasing these relationships, and also the importance of all of us to realizing that we're not that different in these regions, and that we can make this business happen, because our differences are not that big as we think, and our societies are very alike, more than we realize sometimes. So during the presentation, I have some pictures where I'll be sharing what I do to merge these two regions, and you'll see. They say one image speaks more than 1,000 words. So I prefer to during this talk to share the activities I've been doing for the last decade almost, and in the relationship between Latin America and the GCC. And at the end, we can leave some space for Q&A. I would be glad to answer your questions. But well, let me just begin. I always explain to people in Latin America that are interested in visiting and in doing business with GCC countries and with the Middle East that there are some differences between GCC and the Arab League and the Muslim majority countries. So I start by speaking about the Arab League, which is a political, economic, and cultural organization that grows cooperation among its members. As you can see, these are all members of Arab countries, And it's also including the Levant, which is in this part. The Levant is right here. And we also have North Africa, and we also have GCC countries. So the Arab League joins everyone together, and they play an important role in regional international issues because they are a key forum for dialogue in the Arab world, okay? There are also Muslim majority countries. There are in total 57 countries in the world with a Muslim majority population. And also the United States, European Union, India, Indonesia stand out for having significant Muslim populations. So I always tell people in Latin America that are interested in doing business and are interested in knowing about halal certification and how to do business with the Islamic world, that it's not only in these countries that are part of the Arab League, but there are also many other countries that have majority of Muslims that could be also a good place to start in doing business with this kind of countries. And also, there's something else to take into consideration when doing business between these two regions. And I'm referring, all this information is the first info I give to all the people that are from Latin America and want to maybe explore these markets. And I also tell them that the Organization of Islamic Cooperation rank these countries in the global Islamic economy indicator, so that they can have some idea of which countries have this Islamic economics working for them. Malaysia, UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Oman, Jordan, Pakistan, Kuwait, and Qatar are these countries that have Islamic economics going on. And if you are interested in all, or for example, if you're working towards having a Muslim focused public or clients or customers, these are the countries you want to go. But all this, it leads to explain to them that there is also a Gulf Cooperation Council that's composed by these 6 countries: UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Bahrain, and of course Saudi Arabia, because it's very important that we understand the difference between one Arab and the other Arab country. And even though they are similar, because religion unites them in a way, it's and also language sometimes, they are different, just like we have different countries and cultures and mixtures in Latin America. Because and I do this differentiation because there are also many people that are confused about all these countries and how they are organized and what's the majority of religion and what's the form of government. So I also tell all these people that the amazing thing about especially these 6 countries is that they have money due to oil. This oil has been was discovered many years ago, but these countries have not been focusing only in growing from oil. They have been investing all these resources into becoming an innovation hub, and also into becoming a logistics hub, and into becoming an intelligence hub. And that's what I'll be talking about. It amazed me. It has always amazed me. I'll start speaking about the UAE, how the UAE started building up from nothing. And I'll show you this presentation, this animation. In this video, you'll be able to see how Dubai and in general the UAE has grown from being a small country that was united from uniting 7 families, and now is an FDI attractor, a foreign direct investment attractor. And all these 6 other countries are heading that way. So let me just share this video with you. And even this video is just not enough. We need 5 more years of this video to see the development in these last 5 years, because after Expo there was an explosion of participation from other parts of the world that weren't quite there. So yeah, and Latin American participation during this period has also exploded, and it's been amazing to watch and to witness and to help this happening. As you can see in the video, as you could see, there was this vision before they even had the means to build it, before they even had access to petroleum, to oil, to build it. The leadership from the UAE discovered soon enough that they had this amazing location and they had this amazing opportunity, all this land to build mainly whatever they wanted. And there are many books that depict this vision and how it was unfolded into what we see today. And I think it's quite amazing. There are few places in the world that have been able to build something like this, but also make it a place that not only has infrastructure to do business in an easy way, but also has the social and cultural and economic conditions for that to happen. It's a place where there is tolerance for all beliefs, where there are people from many places of the world, from at least 180 countries, living together and co-living together in all this diversity that the world has. Dubai especially is a place where you can see all this happen, and also it's a logistics hub. They have managed to build from Jebel Ali, which was one of the first infrastructure developments, to all what we're watching today, from all the infrastructure that was built for Expo 2020, and now the second part of the subway, and also the metro, and also the all this focus on becoming an AI hub too, and a future hub too. So yeah, it's something to be admired. You live very near. All the people that I see connected, I know that you've been there. Many of you may live there, and you understand what I'm talking about. It's location, its infrastructure, and its openness to diversity. It's the thing that's been propelling this development. There is also, well, there's another video. I'll let you watch it. Perdón, no podía quitar el mute. Bueno, como pueden ver, todas esas son imágenes que he estado recolectando a lo largo de este tiempo, Sorry, I forgot we were speaking English. So
That's okay.
yeah, I know Ideli was about to tell me. Thank you. Sorry about that. It was a glitch. So
That
as you can
happens.
see, these are all images that I've been collecting through time, and it's quite exciting to go to Dubai, to the UAE, to Dubai and Abu Dhabi, and to the Middle East in general, to GCC, to realize that even in 6 months' time, there has been changes, there has been evolution, and there has been this overwhelming development. And also, I want to speak about Abu Dhabi, which is now called the capital of capital. It's a place, is the capital of the country of the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and it's depicted as the world-class sovereign wealth fund's home. And also it has a financial center that's developing also very, very fast at the Abu Dhabi global market. That's now in the phase of building up a second phase, and it's growing like crazy. It's growing very steadily, but very in a way that's its development. It's going to be impactful not only for the city but for the whole country and for the whole region. It has also been characterized for making strategic global investments that impact many development regions and its expansion into emerging markets, and they are exploring more and more every time. There is an appetite and there is a curiosity for the region in Latin America, mainly because we need to increase these activities that I'll be speaking about a little bit further in the presentation, because we need to have all this information from both countries. If you're from Latin America, have the information from GC and vice versa, in order to understand that the due diligence, even though it seems very challenging because we're far away, that we do business in a very similar way. So yeah, I didn't want to not mention Abu Dhabi, and of course we need to mention Saudi Arabia, because with the Vision 2030, and with this vision that has been depicted by the prince, it will have, and it's having, a bold transformation inside of their society, and also that reflects in the region and reflects in the whole world, because now the world is going to know about Saudi Arabia, and now the world is going to have this impact and to know that they are opening themselves to the world, just like the UAE did a few years ago. Now Saudi Arabia is doing it, and it's going to be a blast. They also have strategic location, they also have market access, but different to UAE, this is a huge country in territory, and it also has more inhabitants. So when this opening to the world is finally completed, it will have a huge impact. And I hope, and I'm betting for the world to see, because I think that's the intention of the Vision 2030. That's why they will have Expo 2030. That's going to be very exciting. And that's why they will host the 2034 World Cup. And that's why there are trillions in new investment opportunities, including sports, including all the teams, the soccer teams that are having these blast hirings and these very flashy players that are coming, and also, well, of course, the giga projects. So there's another video that I managed to get images on this edition during my visit to Saudi, and what you'll see in the video is what I would highlight the most. I highlight that as soon as you get into the plane and you get into the country, you get into this aura of being in a very spiritual place, and also being in a place that has a lot of potential towards the products from Latin America. I visited some supermarkets where they had the aisle from Mexican products, and I checked, there was not a single product from Mexico, for example, in those aisles, even though it was called that way. And also, well, it has a history, it has all the tradition, but it is walking very fast, running towards modernity. So I'll give you the video and we can discuss. This was a video that was put in the flight just when we were flying to it. But you must know this. I put all these images in my workshops from for the people from Latin America, so that they can see how tradition embeds with modernity in this country, in Saudi Arabia. And I also highlight this. I highlight what I saw, because even though alcohol beverages are not to be sold, what I've been told is that they do enjoy the taste of the cocktails, the taste of the beverages. So that's a huge opportunity. And this is the aisle I mentioned. There are not many products from Latin America, actually. They are from other places. They are even from Texas, from Europe, but not from Latin America, even though the aisle is called like that. And of course, I depict the architecture that's amazing, and it has this touch of classic modernity. And well, you'll see how I compare how the Middle East do business and how Latin America does business. And it's, well, we need to understand the unique business practices that are mostly always hand in hand with the religion and also with friendship. So whenever someone from Latin America visits GCC, they need to have in mind the respect for cultural and religious protocols. I always tell them to be mindful of them, but not to be afraid of them, because the people that are doing business in these countries, they are also ready for some shaking in the differences and in the cultural nuances. And you just need to learn to navigate this intercultural relationship effectively, but also be mindful and be confident that the people from GCC are also very friendly people, and that they will always be very hospitable towards the visitors. And on the other hand, well, in Latin America, we do very similar things. We put relationship first, business second, just like I mentioned in the previous slide. And they put business after, making a good friendship relationship. Flexibility and adaptability are important. Also, hierarchy and respect in Latin America. And as you can see, and as you know, in GCC, they're also important. And we have in Latin America to navigate bureaucracy and to mind, as I said, cultural diversity and local nuances, because all the region may seem very similar, all the way up from Mexico and all the way down to Argentina and Patagonia, the last part of the region, but it's so large that you couldn't imagine. And I've been asked from people from GCC that how hard it is to navigate from country to country. Well, it's a very, very large region. It has 650 million inhabitants altogether. And just to give them an idea, I tell them that Mexico only is the size of Saudi Arabia almost. They are similar in size. So I've had questions like if it's easy to drive from Mexico to Brazil, and I told them no, it's a flight of 8 or 9 hours to go from Mexico to Brazil, so that they have a good idea of the differences. We are very similar. There are many ties that make us work together very well, but there are also cultural differences that they need to mind when coming here to Latin America, and to consider that may help them doing business with Latinos. But we're similar, that just as GCC countries are similar between them. And I think the most important thing is to bridge cultures and create opportunities in an increasingly interconnected world. That's what I do, and that's mainly what I dedicate myself when traveling from country to country. What I do is this: I represent an event that's called M Congress that's held in the UAE every year. We're about to have it in a few days, from 7 to 9 April this year in Abu Dhabi. But in this coordination that I make, and I represent this event, I travel to all Latin America to invite people to come. I invite ministers, governors. I'm here in this picture with the governor of Paraná State in Brazil, for example, majors, businessmen, investors, startups, SMEs, business chambers. There are a lot of stakeholders that would like to participate and that benefit from participating in the AIM Congress, because we have 8 portfolios that can fulfill all the necessities of networking and also of having the information, that being up to date with all the tendencies about FDI and about future cities and small and medium enterprises and startups, and what's happening in the investment world, and what are the international organizations saying about these subjects. But I also try to visit and to be mindful of all what's happening in the GCC countries, so that I can give all the updated and right information for all the people from Latin America that I'm inviting to this event, so that they can have all the information. And maybe if they are traveling so far away, they can also visit other cities and other countries that can be of benefit for their business. So I bring project holders, people that have projects, and I introduce them to investors. And I also participate with the representatives from the Latina countries in these GCC countries, so to help build a stronger bridge. During AIM Congress, I also organize the Regional Focus Forum for Latin America and the Caribbean, where we usually depict and speak about these subjects that are important and which are the next steps towards building these relationships and making all the information available so that the business are smooth and easy. So in this picture, you can see what we did last year in the Regional Focus Forum. We gave an opportunity for all these investors from Latin America that are raising capital right now. We let them have a reverse pitch. So investors were pitching in front of other limited partners that could be interested in investing in them. But also we had as an audience the startups that would like to have the investment from them. So it was quite a unique session. And this was the year before. We had a session about productive development in Latin America and the Caribbean and the future strategies for making it happen. We had the IDB, we had the Development Bank from Latin America and the Caribbean, the Trade Zone Association from Latin America, and we also had the Minister of Industry and Commerce from Paraguay. And we've had also ministers from Ecuador, from Honduras, from Brazil, from Mexico, from Peru, just highlighting what are their competitive advantages and how to invest in them, which are their flagship projects and why invest in them. That's also what I do inside of AIM. This is the Investors Hub, where we also have these investors receiving people from all over the world in order to know about their new developments and their new projects, so that maybe we can have them invest into each other. And there is also these events that I visited. This was in Qatar, for example, where I meet, you may know these 2 persons, Marcelo Clauret and the Minister of Investment of Saudi Arabia. Networking and relevance is very important relevant networking is very important in order to stay updated and well, This is also, there's our images from the annual investment meeting 3 years ago, as you can see what I mentioned, and also the images from Jeddah. I was a judge in this speech competition, and I was so very glad to be there. And these are also other activities that I've made. We had the aim, the Latin American and the Caribbean aim, where we had these very important numbers, over 4,000 participants from 50 countries. And we had the IDV, the Minister of Economy of the UAE, also featured Aladi, and ICLAC, the UN at the moment. And also we organize agribusiness virtual trade mission, and also physical missions that we've been having participants from Latin America. We bring startups to the region, and we have the Exports Accelerator, where we give training, and then we give them a space in supermarkets in GCC. And all these activities can be done backwards too. I mean, we also promote all this participation from GCC and to visit Latin America. That's where we're going to focus this year. So that's about it from my side. This is my LinkedIn, where you can reach me anytime, and I'll be glad to follow up in any question, any questions. And well, I think there are some questions, written questions here, Aideli.
Thank you so much, Astrid. Yes, thank you so much, Des. Indeed, we have a few questions here. If you allow me to read, we have a question from Catalina. She says, how significant is the difference between doing business in the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia?
Oh, that's a good question, Catalina. I think at the moment, the most significant difference is the time frame where the UAE opened to the world. That was a few years back, some decades back, and that Saudi is doing it right now with the Vision 2030. I think they are doing it very quickly, but it's not quite the same yet. And also in the UAE, they have more open opportunities for the business establishments, and mainly from anywhere in the world you can go and establish your business very easily in 1 day or two. And in Saudi, you still have to go through some hoops and navigate a little bit more to do this. But I think Saudi is copying this blueprint, and they will manage to do it, at least, I think, in the next 5 years. It will be mostly the same.
And we don't have to forget that, of course, UAE is mostly full of expats, right? And this is also a very important element, because here in Saudi, as expats, we represent only the 30% of the population in the whole kingdom. So that plays a role also in terms of speed.
But also, well, the population in UAE is 10 million. Out of the 10 million, only 2 are Emiratis. Different than in Saudi, that it's 35 million inhabitants. So that's a huge other difference.
Yes.
There is a lot more people, but if there are more people, there are more people that will buy your products. So
True. And we have another question here from Eda, and she says, as per development between government relations, which countries are more open to deal with Mexico in terms or trading? Okay, so
GCC?
I suppose that from the GCC, which countries are more open to deal with Mexico?
Well, UAE for sure. The CEPA is about to be signed. I think it's going to be signed this year, the CEPA agreement for trade between the two countries. And UAE and Mexico also have 13 other agreements that are about investment and are about agriculture, and a lot of other things that they have set the field for more and more business to come. At least UAE, it's more than open, but I think Saudi is going to manage, and it's going to do it in the very, very short term. So yeah.
Okay.
And all 6 countries from GCC are open to do business in Mexico. Mexico has a lot of agreements already signed all over the world. The only thing that Mexico has is that being neighbor to the United States, well, up until now, we're having some trade war, if you may, but Mexico has not needed to look and diversify until now. And I think right now it's a very good moment to give this information for Mexicans that are willing to and that need to diversify their exports.
Yeah. And then another question that maybe is related with this explanation, which GCC country is the most strategic for initiating the process of internationalization from LATAM to the Middle East?
Right now, it's the UAE too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the place where, as I mentioned before, is the place where you can set up your business and then use it as a logistics hub because of the infrastructure and all the facilities they have. And you can easily get to any other part of the world within 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, Astrid, would you mention some of the most important, perhaps, best practices or consequences in the past AIM Congress? I mean, perhaps if you have a couple of ideas or examples of some deliverables in the last AIM Congresses where some companies or startups participated with regards to making this bridge. I mean, we would like to try to understand what has happened in these events, in this Congress, in terms of best practices or delivers for startups or for companies from LATAM here in the region.
Those who have been successful in raising capital were the ones that offered first something to the Arab counterpart. So, for example, the ones that I know for a fact that raised capital, but I can't say due to NDA, they offered first technical advice for this investor that was interested in them. They were raising, and this investor was interested in cooperating in helping them raise, but they first offered this investor some technical capabilities from start from their portfolio. So they offered this, and then the investor offered to invest in them. So what I mean is that you need to be open and ready to contribute to the investment and to the startup ecosystem before even considering that you'll get some investment. You need to offer added value from the investors that are raising need to offer added value from their portfolio, from their startups in their portfolio, to help increase and to help strengthen the ecosystem in the GCC, and then they may get investment.
Correct.
That's the main thing that I would recommend. Just offer something, build up the relationship first. Not only visit the event for 3 days and the region for 1 week and then don't come back, because you're visiting their house, you're visiting their country, which is something they are they take pride on it with good reason, because it's been amazing how they've been developing it, and they will invite you. They will be very hospitable, but you need to build up from there and not let go. Just come back every 3 to 6 months and keep building up until even you have a company build up there, and you with the intention of building up your ecosystem too, not with intention to come, ask for money and leave. Yes. Because they'll pick up on that.
Yeah, to make it very sustainable and organic. Astrid, we have here in the attendees some people that actually have lived here in the region for more than 20 years. 5 years, 6 years, 4 years, 10 years, 20 years. And of course, they might ask themselves, okay, how to make this match in terms of, I don't know, bringing perhaps people from another region to this region. How could we start? How could we start making that bridge will happen? Do we have to start first with hearing the area where we live, this region, the needs, the opportunities, the investment opportunities, knocking doors with these people that perhaps are the ones that have the information about the projects that are on in stage in this moment? Do we have to hear on the other side, it may be about what they would like to do? What might be the 1, 2, 3 steps that you recommend for people to start with this connection for strengthening the bridge?
I think from what I've seen, it all starts with an open mind. It all starts with knowing that, for starters, it's two big regions, as I mentioned. Numbers are very impressive. Latin America with 650 million inhabitants, and GCC with the nuances that come with the different, the cultural differences. But I think what we do, at least in Latin America, what I always tell them to do first is to lose the fear of going to this region, to lose all the prejudgment that we have towards the region, to forget about. I always get questions like, as a woman, can I go alone? Yes, you can. As a businessman, do I have to speak Arabic? No, you don't have to. You know what I mean? You need to go for it. People in Latin America need to lose the fear and need to travel there and need to see with their own eyes all this development, all this amazing infrastructure that has been developing. You need to go set foot in Saudi to see that women can and are able to do many things that in our minds we don't think they're allowed to. Yes. Right? And you especially all of you that live there know what I'm talking about. And as I live here and as I train people from Latin America to visit these countries, I just tell them to get in the tide and just go with the flow. Because what we need to do is to stop being so nervous about being or thinking we're that different, because we're not. In all these countries, they have this focus in the religion, and we also do in Latin America. They have Ramadan, we have Holy Week. They have this all this fasting, but we have the Quaresma. I don't remember how to say it in English. I'm so sorry. Yes. But it's the 40 days between the Ash Wednesday and then the finishing of the Holy Week, where at the starting of the Holy Week, sorry, where we also fast. So if we were to speak, we could find so many similarities. I remember when I received the Minister of Economy of the UAE in Mexico and in Bogota, we had Ash Wednesday in Bogota. So I let them know beforehand that they were going to see people with the cross in the forehead, and I explained the religious reason about behind it. And that night we had dinner with the Vice President of Colombia, and she arrived with the big cross. So if I didn't explain this to them beforehand, they would be like, what's going on? Like a personal friend towards us or something like that, right? Yes. But they could foresee, and they could really realize that we are as apegados. I can find the word.
So tight, yeah.
No, not tight. Es como we follow up also all the religious nuances, and as they do, so that makes us similar. Like, and we put family first, just like as they do. So that those are the things that we need to highlight into trying to do business. But I would also encourage them, encourage people that are coming from Latin America to GCC just to be open-minded and not to be afraid, even though it's hard.
Yeah. There's a question here, someone who is here in Saudi Arabia. How can you help us in Saudi Arabia? from Mexico. I mean, being in Mexico, and we know that the other day we would talk about that, about the situation, the need that making more developments is needed here in Saudi Arabia, and this is also something that we're interested to do. Is there anything that you want to share with in that regard?
Well, it's kind of a question that has many answers. But if you want, Selena, just reach out to me in LinkedIn and we can have a chat, a one-to-one chat, so I can learn what you do, and then I can answer based on what you do, because I've learned from, especially from in Congress, having 8 portfolios, that it's not the same language when you refer to startup than when you refer to a minister than when you refer to an ambassador. So yeah, it's the same answer. I don't know what you do or what your intent to do, and we can start from knowing that.
Totally. Yes, every situation is individual, and of course with its own characteristics and features. And of course, that's what it deserves of individual session of consultancy. Yes, I don't know if there's any other question, guys, here from the audience, but it was a very interactive session of questions. Thank you so much for writing your messages and your comments. Here it says, thanks, Astrid, for your participation. I also want to thank Astrid for this contribution. And we know that this is only a kind of reminder in some way, but also a refreshment in terms of going to the basics of how to make business, in terms of really finding some similarities, right? In terms of doing finding some similarities in order to make this and synergetic connection, right, with the other side. So far, this is like my point of view from all what I have learned today from you in terms of making sustainable, making organic, make it like something that can have a ripple effect in the society, in the community, and that can be attractive, not only for you and your needs, but also for the ones who might be surrounded you. And we know that here in Saudi Arabia, I mean, there's so much still to do. But that's why we are just starting, knocking doors with the right people, like Astrid, that she is the one who can really help us in the future to know how to strengthen these ties, perhaps like presenting or preparing or bringing events or bringing the AIM Congress here that we actually thought about it, and some other opportunities that we can do together. So the opportunities and the chances are unlimited, right? The most important is just to start making the connections. And well, if there's no any or Eda says, thanks a lot for sharing all your experience, Astrid.
Thank you, Eda. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Astrid. And if you guys have the chance to go to Abu Dhabi in April, please go to AIM Congress. Yeah, that will be amazing if you can meet Astrid there in person and you can learn about what the AIM Congress is and all the opportunities that AIM Congress offers for Latinos and also for the people here in the GCC. And who knows? I mean, maybe new ideas are just coming from this visit. This is the invitation that Astrid just made. Visit, connect, make relationships in order to identify possibilities, right, for the future, right? Okay, so Idra says, thank you, Renata, thank you, Ideli, for this contribution. So Selena, I don't know if it is possible to share my contact with
I think we're both in the group, right?
Of course, yeah, of course. Yes, of course, we can do that. So thank you for this beautiful space. Thanks a lot, Rogelio. Rogelio, thank you from Monterey. So, well, so we keep in touch, guys. And let's just connect with Astrid just to get more information about your specific examples and needs. Okay? So thank you, everybody.
Thank you
Have
for
a
the
good
space,
day.
Ideli. Thank you, everyone.
Ciao, ciao.